good evening. This is your man's, the man about town, Petty Murphy, reporting to you live from the back of the classroom with Akata News Network. What is that? Wait a minute. Stay tuned. Breaking news.
So I've been seeing a lot of videos pop up on my For You page about different creators talking about the tension between Black immigrants and Black Americans. And I really wanted to do a video sharing my personal experience being a Black immigrant myself. Coming here at a very young age, I grew up around a lot of Black Americans, but I also grew up in an area where there was a very high population of Black immigrants, mainly Haitians and Liberians, Africans. And because I grew up in the United States, I'm very Americanized. I'm basically American. So when I encountered these other Black immigrants, they also assumed that I am Black American. And when I tell you the stuff that they say about me in my own language, it's disgusting. And a lot of times I would come across Black Americans and they would ask me, like, why do Black immigrants hate us so much? And I feel like a lot of these content creators that post these videos really spot on, like, basically hit it on the head. And I could never give them like a legitimate answer because I didn't know myself, like, really. And I remember growing up, like, some family members would tell me to stay away from Black Americans. And one of the reasons why was because when Black Americans get in trouble, they go to jail or some other consequence. But if I get in trouble, I will get deported. So that was like one of the reasons why I wasn't allowed to have Black American friends, because they were seen as troublemakers. And growing up, really, I kind of understand the reason why, but I don't understand the reason why. I don't know. But I feel like it's really good that a lot of different people are coming forward about it and really talking about it. It's a conversation that needs to be had, because regardless if you're a Black American or Black African or Black Caribbean, Black European, whatever, I just feel like Black people should really be together and unite, and especially in times like this.
Immigrant protections exist only because FBA activism destroyed racism immigration laws. And yet for years, many immigrants assimilated by separating themselves from FBAs, repeating every anti-FBA stereotype available. Well, until now. Now the vulnerability, is exposed, the fragility is undeniable, and the arrogance is collapsing, just like Burna Boy.
The biggest fear is, as Black Americans are delineating, and America as a country is doing the same thing. They're coming after us. Donald Trump got elected. Immigrants are scared. So now Black Americans are doing their own thing. At the time, we're hoping that they would be standing up for us, being part of our coalition. But
yeah, and that's the problem.
We don't know what to do now.
Yeah, because we told people, they kept telling us, well, you FBS don't work hard. You don't work. We came over with $2 and we were this, and y'all need to learn from us. It got real bad. And people got very arrogant, and even Jamaicans, they still do it. They still tell us, oh, don't come to Jamaica. Oh, don't do this. You are entitled. And y'all were telling us all of this stuff about how hard you worked and how lazy we were. And we said, okay, well, handle your business then. And now people don't like it.
And can I say something? Do you know, I think that's why a lot of immigrants are running for office. There's a lot of Somalis in Minnesota, the New York mayor, because I think they're scared now since that, the current political system in America, and maybe Black Americans are not as supportive anymore. So they feel like they have to fight for themselves. They have to have a presence, or else it's over for immigrants here.
Yeah, and that ain't working because they ain't getting elected. A lot of them are not getting elected like that.
Hey, I'm gonna warn you, because I'm Haitian. All I know how to do is match energy. Y'all need to find a different thing to call us Haitians, at least. You know what? I can vouch for my Jamaicans too. Stop calling them that too. Don't call us tethers. You know what I mean? And if you do it, at least do it in the comfortability of the internet. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't suggest, like, you see me or any other Haitian or Jamaican, I don't suggest calling us tethered to our face, because what we tethered to, my nigga?
Now, I am going to show you how you tether, young brother. But first, I want to address the fact that I will call anybody, anywhere, a tether whenever I feel like it, because I know how to fight. Now, here's where the tethering comes in. When she get in office, this is the first question she asks.
So I want to shift our attention to Haiti and find out, what is the strategy with Haiti?
But when she get caught with her hand in the cookie jar, this is the first thing they say to the press.
Hear from her lawyers briefly, who say she is being targeted because she is a black Democrat.
This is what we mean by tether behavior, young fella. When she gets elected and gets a chance to speak, it's all about Haiti. When she get caught stealing, it's, oh, they're picking on me because I'm a black woman. Now she wants to help in support of the black community, the community she didn't give a damn about when she was in office. She only cared about her fellow Haitians. That's tethering. Ain't this nigga right here Haitian? This Fuji nigga? Ain't he a Haitian?
Yesterday, a federal judge sentenced Price to 14 years in prison. Now, this happened in the D.C. federal court. Now, the prosecutors wanted a couple decades thrown at him, but his attorneys were asking for 3 years. Now, you also remember back in 2019, Price was indicted on
the disrespect black Americans have faced for decades from every kind of people, Africans, Latinos, even minority groups who are enjoying the fruits of black Americans. They have been them. When Somali migrants first arrived in America, as I talked on the other episode, in 1990s, they were fleeing wars, the famine, collapse, and destruction. And black Americans helped them navigate the street. Black Americans helped them navigate the schools, the culture. Black Americans defended them when white folks mocked their accent. Black Americans defended them saying that these are our African brothers, But what did Somali do? They turned around and mocked the same people who welcomed them. They talked about all the stereotypes about black Americans being lazy, about black Americans not working hard, about black Americans, they don't know their fathers, especially this video where this guy is saying that black Americans do not know their fathers. This is one of the most videos that have hurt me the most. It has hurted me the most because, man, let's repeat this video again.
Somali says black Americans don't know their fathers.
African Americans, they don't even know their fathers. They don't even know their fathers. It was all of them, most of them were the product of one night stand. One night stand. They will tell you, I don't know my father. Well, who named you? Whose name are you carrying? Well, my mother chose his name for me.
Yo, what's cracking? So yeah, you already know what it is, right? So let's get into it. Now, I speak to my peers about this all the time, and I always get pushback. But it's funny because the last time I spoke to my father and my mother, even though according to the Somalian imams, we're all products of one night stands and we don't know who our father is. But I've noticed a pattern, right? And you can take this all the way back to when it started with the Venezuelans, right? But if you actually pay attention to what's going on, every time something happens in the world of the interwebs and someone goes viral for saying some vile, disrespectful tomfoolery or malarkey to and about black Americans, especially when there's something that's done like being locked in African hair braiding shops and accosted, things of that nature, or like the young sister in Texas that was ran over on a jet ski by 2 Venezuelan illegal migrants that came across Mama La Kamala and Poppy Sleepy Joe's border, right? But the one thing I've noticed is after every instance of this happening and it goes viral, it seems like within about a 2-week period, all of a sudden they all seem to start losing TPS protection. And the next thing you know, there's a round of deportations that started. And if you think I'm bullshitting, pay attention to Minnesota and what's going on with Ilhan Omar and her crew right now. And now you've got them on the internet talking about something, but we need help. But we need help. Just like when they started with the Venezuelans and the dude got on TikTok and said, black people, get your popcorn. You think we're gonna ask you for help because you can't even help yourselves. And I will vote for Donald Trump. A few moments later, and here we are. Now you're realizing that there's levels to this. And even for the naturalized citizens, now you're understanding that black Americans have been here for generation upon generation. We are born from the soil citizens with actual lineage to this land. That's why Donald Trump told you after the inauguration that if they got rid of birthright citizenship, the only people that couldn't be removed from this land is the descendants of American chattel slavery, which means black Americans, the Acatas, the Moyos, the Limayetes. So, mejora la raza. So yeah, y'all keep on keeping on because y'all keep fucking around and finding out it ain't looking too well. It ain't looking too good for y'all. And to the black Americans who keep putting yourselves, your temples, your bodies, your divinity, and your sovereignty on the line for people who clearly think you have no culture, who clearly think that you are uncouth and uncivilized, who clearly think you are all the product of one-night stands and adultery because you don't know who your fathers are. And this is what they preach in their religious temples. These are supposed to be men of God lying to their people on our land and our home as we subsidize their whole existence. The number one immigrant group that is the benefactor of social services such as SNAP, Medicaid, and housing are Somalians. So while they sit here and rob the federal government and the American people because we are the government, we the people blind, and they openly talk shit about the only group of people that actually ever fought for them. Because you know what's funny? While you sit there and talk about black Americans don't know this and don't know that, we were the only ones that actually fought to build the bridge for you to come over here and get that TPS status. Or did you forget? We made a movie called Black Hawk Down when y'all were dragging our servicemen through your town squares. They was trying to help liberate you. Or oppress, however you want to look at it, right? One man's freedom fighter is another man's terrorist, and one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. But I'll tell you this much. You've been getting TPS, which is temporary protected status, for over 30 years. And in that time, all you did is violate and disrespect us in our own communities. As you say, you have to take political seats from black Americans because we have no morals. Well, now you getting your ass ran up out of here and you fucked around and found out. And again, if you're a black American, why are you fighting against your own best interests? I mean, what is it that's going on in your mind that makes you think that these people have ever cared about us? Because ever since 1965 and that good old Immigration Act that was attached to the Civil Rights Act, we have openly fought for the betterment of them. And as you see, once they get in office, the first thing they do is they take care of home and they vote against the reparations that was outlined in the Emancipation Proclamation. Because why? They won't get a piece of the pie. And the same descendants of black Americans that fought for their freedom when they couldn't fight for themselves in their own homeland, so they had to run here and then live off of the work and the blood, sweat, and tears that we've put out there with absolutely no thanks. And Ashley has been met with nothing but disdain, arrogance, open hatred, and lies. And some of us still continue to support these people. Well, I'm going to speak for myself, and I know majority of people that I actually interact with actually feel the same way. And it's funny because, you know, you have the two groups now. You have the people that see what's going on, but they don't want to say anything publicly because they don't want to get branded or labeled xenophobic. They don't want to be looked at as the black oppressor because they're speaking facts and speaking the truth. So they say nothing. Then you have the other side that they don't care about themselves. They're suffering from the worst brand of Stockholm syndrome. And they sit around and agree with these people when they violate their own nation and their own tribes. This shit is wild to me. It is beyond wild. But you know what? It's not my cross to bear. But I tell you what, I will keep, and I will stay on code. And I'm going to keep pushing this until my people wake up. Because we're continuing to fight for things that we will never benefit from, and it benefits every other group from outside the nation. And we're stuck footing the bill. But when you start going through a lot of these statistics, because you know, for the longest time, the American black woman has been the symbol of the welfare queen. But then when you go through the statistics, it tells a whole nother story. And if you learned anything from the government being shut down, you saw who was doing the most crying and the most whining. the number one recipients, number 1, 2, and 3 recipients of DEI and affirmative action and the benefits of SNAP, Medicare, Medicaid, and everything else, right? White women and immigrants, especially those that are illegal, that claim an asylum because they get a temporary social security number when they do that. And that's the loophole of how they get SNAP benefits, Medicare, Medicaid, Section 8, and the like, as well as the programs that they only qualify for and Americans don't qualify for, like grants for first-time homeowners in California and the like. So while you're getting dog walked and feeling inflation because of the government subsidizes food for their 25+ million visitors, or as I like to officially call them, the Mama Kamala kids. And anytime the government subsidizes anything, it's like insurance. So when you start paying insurance premiums, all of a sudden in the hospital, the aspirin goes from 3 cents to $10. So when they got here and the federal government started subsidizing SNAP benefits or food stamps and handing out debit cards with thousands of dollars of them, a la Senior Mayor Eric Adams of New York City, the average everyday taxpaying citizen then had to suffer, because not only do we have to pay more inflation and then the taxes going up, we also had to deal with everything that came with it. People being set ablaze on subway trains. Essays of young children as young as 5 years old in broad daylight. And if you like, I have no problem, because I can quickly go through and grab receipts. But this is where we're at. And this is what some of you are still fighting for. So remember, at the end of the day, if you really want anything to change and you truly care about what's going on around you and your country, get up, get active, and do something. And stop cutting off your nose to spite your face, because you look stupid and crazy. And on that note, I'm gonna get out of here. And remember, real lies, real lies, real lies. Just like, don't none of y'all know who your daddy is. And this again is the imam of a Muslim mosque in America telling immigrants that the Akatas don't know who they are and they don't even know their father, while we go to work every day, continuing to build bridges to make them a better life and work down to the muscle, to the gristle, right? Down to the white knuckling it up so that the taxes can be paid, so that they can have a better life that we can't even benefit from. On that note, I'm gonna get out of here. Remember, y'all keep your eyes to the stars, keep that head on a swivel, because it's a dirty game out here. And I highly suggest, pay attention to what's going on, read the room, pay attention to the patterns, start moving accordingly, because they don't care about you. They never have, and they never will. And if we continue on, the lie that they're telling, that they believe so much, is going to become the truth. And all of the historical books are going to be changed, that this nation was built by the labor of immigrants that arrived after the 1965 Civil Rights Act, and not your ancestors or my ancestors that were here from jump.